Alright, it's that time of the year again because we're doing the S-Class Hero disaster levels. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about stuff that happens in the webcomic, which takes place after the current events of the manga. So if you don't want to be spoiled about what's going to happen, you can check out now. And of course, a few caveats here. So first of all, the S-Class heroes and just non-threats in general don't have disaster levels. So what I'm doing here is just estimating, taking a guess as to what they could be if they did have a threat. Basically just power scaling them according to the One Punch Man power scale. I'm also going to be using a lot of community or fan terms in this video. These are the only official disaster levels according to the story. So when I say things like low, high, above, approaching, things like that, it's not like official canon terminology. Even though sometimes in the story they do actually say things like that regarding disaster levels. Just keep in mind that a lot of this is like community terms. Another thing is that the manga has changed so much from the webcomic over this last year that I can't really just group these characters together because they're just like two completely different continuities at this point. So I'll just have like two levels, one for what the manga version could be and one for what the webcomic version could be. And lastly, this is all just subjective, of course. You might have different opinions than my own, so yeah. So like we normally do with this video, we're gonna start with Amai Mask. And no, he is not officially an S-Class hero, but come on, he pretty much is. And I think most people would agree that I should have him included in this video. But after we get through him, I'm just going to be going in the sequential order of the S-Class heroes as they're ranked, starting from the bottom to the top, not ranking them in order of who I think is more powerful or whatever. That's going to be another video. So in the manga, Amai Mask has pretty much stayed the same as I classified him last year. He's proven that he has at least like demon level strength for sure, but he still has yet to like defeat a dragon or anything like that. So I can't give him like the official dragon level, at least according to the manga. But when we come to the webcomic, he's had a lot of development, and that's because it was revealed that not only is he a monster, but he also has like a true monster form. And when he goes into that form, he becomes extraordinarily powerful, like easily dragon level. It's possible that he's even like a high dragon. I made an entire video dedicated to how strong Amai Mask could be, at least in his webcomic version. And his main feat is like beasting a certified dragon level threat, but it ultimately comes down to like how strong the pesky clown was at his peak. Was he like a mid-dragon? Was he like a high dragon? Hard to say, but Amai Mask beasting him the way that he did, I think puts Amai Mask, at least in his full powered form, like around high dragon. So next is Puri-Puri Prisoner, and we'll just stick to his manga version because he hasn't really had any development in the webcomic yet. I mean, it's going to be coming soon because it looks like he's going to be fighting Raiden, but we'll just stick to the manga because he has had some kind of development because his battle with Vacuuma and Neon was retconned, and I would say like it mildly altered him. It's really hard to say how strong Puri is for sure right now because he beasted Vacuuma, who was a certified demon, but it's like how strong was he after he absorbed those monsters? Did he go from like low to mid to high? I mean, this is going to be a recurring thing in this video. You're probably going to hear me say this a lot, but aside from that, like he did take a pretty good attack from a dragon level in Neon, a dragon level cadre. He was still able to stand after it and like went after Neon full force. Now Neon did run away because Puri was like a bad matchup for him, psychologically at least. But now given that Puri has like the upgrades with like the vibration, the bristle armor, and seemingly regeneration, so I'll say that Puri is like in that like above demon range right now, I guess. I mean, maybe he could be dragon. It's hard to say for me personally, but he's definitely somewhere around there. Next is Tank Top Master, and he's kind of falling into the same category as Puri in my opinion. Like, it's hard to say if he is like a full-blown dragon right now because he has had some developments in both the manga and the webcomic. So in the manga recently, we saw him like chuck that huge like power tower thing, and that was a really impressive feat of power. Like I didn't expect Tank Top Master to be that physically strong, and like just giving that the eye test, that almost looks like a dragon level feat of strength. Now just because someone is as physically strong as a dragon doesn't necessarily make them a full-blown dragon level threat, at least in my opinion, because he hasn't even like defeated any demons in the manga, at least on panel. But going to the webcomic, he has had a significant fight when he went against the Heavy Smoker monster, who was confirmed to be a dragon. Now, while he didn't defeat it, Heavy Smoker did say that Tank Top Master was giving him somewhat of a good fight, and Tank Top Master said himself that he damaged him. So given that he can be competitive against like a dragon, seemingly, I guess I could put him in like the same category as like Puri, like above demon, you know, approaching dragon, somewhere around there. So next we have Metal Bat, and he hasn't really had any development in either the manga or the webcomic. So like in the webcomic, he's about to have a pretty significant fight, but it just hasn't happened yet. So we're just gonna have to still keep Metal Bat where he was, which is basically just solid dragon level. Like he needs to be pumped up a little bit, you know, like his ability where he takes more damage the stronger he gets, to really get to like certified dragon level in my opinion. But still, he is, I think a solid dragon nonetheless. Like his feat against Elder Centipede, like stopping him mid-charge, is one of the most impressive S-class level feats in my opinion. So next up is Genos, and he's had a lot of development in both the manga and in the webcomic, and I think both versions, it's fair to say that he's at least dragon currently. So in the manga, he has like the Daedric upgrade, as I call it, or you could just call it Blue Dragon Genos, or just post Elder Centipede Genos, it doesn't matter. But given that like his full power, which he can only use for 10 seconds, like he beam struggled with Sairochi, which is super impressive. And we even saw like the end result of that blast going off into like the stratosphere. It was crazy. It was like something out of Dragon Ball Z. So like maybe just standard Daedric Genos is like dragon, low dragon or something, but when he goes to like full power for 10 seconds, it seems like he's maybe even a high dragon at that point. And as for his webcomic version, he soloed a dragon in the Family of Darkness, and we didn't get to see it, but it was confirmed that he did do it. And I mean, he was close to death afterwards, so it was like a super high diff, but he did solo a dragon nonetheless. So I guess in the webcomic, he's maybe like low dragon or something. So next is Flashy Flash, and he hasn't really had too much development in the manga recently, but in the webcomic, he has. Like recently in the webcomic, he easily took care of the Heavy Smoker monster that we were talking about that was fighting Tank Top Master, a confirmed dragon. And that's because he like picked up those 2 new techniques from the scrolls he got from the Ninja Village leader. So it seems like he's even increased his power even more, and I was already high on Flashy Flash before this. Like giving his spar against Saitama, I already put him like, you know, easy high dragon, maybe even pushing above dragon at that point, considering how impressive he was against Saitama, regardless if it was training or not. And also, more or less, he had the most impressive performance against Awakened Garo of all of the S-class heroes, pretty much, right? So with the webcomic version, I think, you know, he's easy high dragon, you know, almost maybe above dragon. Not saying he is, don't get too upset. I'm just saying he is like approaching that level of power, it seems like. And then the manga pretty much just stays the same. He's solid high dragon there as well. I mean, just look at his like almost time-stopping feats against Hellfire Gale in chapter 96. I mean, to this day, it's still some of the most impressive stuff you'll see in the manga. Next is Watchdog Man, and you guessed it, he has no development in either the manga or the webcomic. His only real feat is just dominating Hero Hunter Garo, and I think that puts him at least around dragon level. I mean, he does have all of the hype on him. How he, like, I guess, single-handedly defends Q City from all kinds of threats. It's like, are they all demons? Are some of them dragons? We don't know. But I still think it's safe to say that Watchdog Man is at least dragon level. Next is Super Ally Darkshine, and he hasn't really had much development in the manga, and in the webcomic, he's pretty much retired at this point. But at least we did get to see his fight with Garo in the manga, and I still think that he's pretty much a high dragon. I mean, his durability is like almost the highest, if not the highest in the S-class. His strength is right up there as well. I mean, his one main weakness is just his fragile mental state, honestly. Next is Pig God, and we haven't really seen him in the webcomics since the Awakened Garo stuff. And in the manga, I think he's proven that he's probably dragon to some extent. We haven't seen like the full outcome of his fight with Gums in the manga because it's currently being redrawn at this point, but we did get a glimpse of the future, and it seems like he escaped him somehow, or maybe even beat him, possibly, I don't know. But given that he was pretty competitive against Gums, at least now with the retcons and stuff. And his durability has always been impressive. It was confirmed that he had legitimate regeneration, but then that was taken away from the manga as well. Although that does explain how he's able to survive getting shot internally by evil natural water, you know, after he ate him. So I think Pig God's probably like a low dragon or something. So next we have Drive Knight, and he has nothing in the webcomic, so let's just get that off the table. But in the manga, he still is like one of the strongest S-Class heroes in my opinion. We got to see a good portion of his power when he just completely destroyed Neon for the most part. I mean, Neon had some moments, but it was like a one-sided beatdown, and that is a dragon level cadre. Anybody that could do that to any cadre is for sure one of the strongest S-Class heroes. And given that his transformations are based off of shogi pieces, we probably haven't seen the peak of his power yet. And considering he already beasted a possible mid-dragon in Neon, he himself is probably a high dragon. And just heavily speculating about what the peak of his power could be, it could be like above dragon possibly. Next is Zombieman, and I've always thought that Zombieman was like a solid dragon. I mean, just his abilities alone I think make him somewhere around there. I mean, he doesn't have like that crazy super strength, but given that he can bend steel and, I don't know, compete with other demons and stuff like that, I mean, his strength isn't bad. I mean, maybe he has like A-class hero strength or like a stronger A-class hero or something like that. At least just going off of how the Amai Mask judges that level of strength. But his regeneration is really impressive. Like some of the most impressive we've seen in the series ever. And while his fight hasn't wrapped up against Homeless Emperor in the manga, it has in the webcomic where he just straight up defeats him. And I don't think that's going to change. So Zombieman has legitimately soloed a dragon. And yes, he did defeat Carnage Kabuto in the virtual genocide simulation, but let's just not put too much on that because it's already weird and convoluted as it is. So next up is King, and I personally think that King has supernatural abilities that give him like meta luck, extreme luck, whatever you want to call it, supernatural probability manipulation, or as I call it in my King video, the aura. If you think that he doesn't, that's fine, it's all good. King's character as a whole is up for interpretation. So given the range of opinions on him, he could either be below Wolf or just straight up God. Next up is Metal Knight, and he hasn't really had development either, but just given everything we know about Metal Knight, I think that he's at least a high dragon, possibly even approaching God level. Like, we've only seen such a small percentage of his power by just seeing like one of his Metal Knight robots. I mean, in the data book, it says that he has at least 100 of those things. We've seen his construction robots, which are reminiscent of like an AT-AT Walker from Star Wars. He built the new Hero Association in like a week, and it was projected to take like 10 years by regular standards. And even Psycho says that he was probably only one of 4 S-Class heroes who could defeat Elder Centipede. So I'm assuming Metal Knight is like one of the strongest S-Class heroes, maybe even one of just the strongest characters in the series, period. So next up is Child Emperor, and he hasn't had much development in the webcomic, but in the manga, he's regressed a little bit, and that's because they retconned the Millennium Emperor Nova, you know, his big Kamehameha thing. And that was really what was pushing him to like high dragon level kind of last year. But now that he doesn't have that, I think he's probably regressed. I mean, he still does have Brave Giant, you know, the huge mech, which is for sure dragon level. But without it, he's still pretty capable just with his backpack. I mean, that backpack can produce so much. It's so versatile. And even him just as a being is pretty effective too. Like, he took legitimate damage from a dragon level in Resurrected Phoenix Man. And the Amai Mask kind of implies that he might have the physicality of like an A-class level hero. I mean, you could take it for what you will. Was it referring to his brain? Was it referring to his body? Was it referring to a mixture of both? Maybe, maybe not. But overall, the whole package of Child Emperor, I think it's fair to say that he's at least dragon level. So next is Atomic Samurai, and he's kind of regressed as well, and that's because the manga has retconned his ability to do the focused atomic slash, which was pretty much his saving grace. It actually gave him a shot at defeating one of the strongest characters in Black S, but he no longer has it, so he's dropped down a notch in my book. Now, is the focus atomic slash gone forever? Probably not. He might even show it later on in this arc in the manga. But regardless, he really has yet to defeat a dragon by himself. But I do think that he is definitely a dragon. Like, the atomic slash attack is one of the strongest things in the series, in my opinion. And I don't discredit that at all. But Atomic Samurai just needs more development before I can rate him anything higher than like mid-dragon maybe. So next is Silver Fang, and nothing has really significantly changed for him either. In the webcomic, he's retired, and in the manga, we haven't gotten to his updated feats against the cadres. But I'm sure that won't change. So him like one-shotting Gums, Fear Ugly, and wrecking Black S is still like his defining feats, which I think easily make him high dragon. So next is Tatsumaki, and she's had development in the manga and in the webcomic. We recently saw her like, I guess, easily take down another dragon level threat in the amalgamation. But in the manga, she has really gone to the next level. Like, her fight against Sairochi has really shown that she's way stronger than what we initially thought. And we already thought that she was one of the strongest characters in the series. But like I said, going to another level. Now, I do think that she's still above dragon. Given her new feats of like the barrier stuff and surviving the continent laser and stopping the tsunami and twisting the city, it's like she's definitely like at the higher range of that above dragon level of power, like possibly even approaching the G word. Then finally we have Blast, and unfortunately we don't have any new updated feats on him, but I still do think he's the strongest S-class hero, and that's mainly based off of his hype. I mean, we do have some known feats, like he defeated Elder Centipede, didn't kill him, and also defeated the Ninja Village leader, didn't kill him either. But those two are probably high dragons in themselves. Like in the data book, Fubuki says that like if all of the S-class ganged up on him, they still wouldn't win. Is that true? I don't know, it remains to be seen, but I'm thinking that it probably is, and that makes Blast minimum like above dragon level, and he might even be approaching the G word as well. But that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you think about these disaster levels. Where would you put the S-class heroes in your opinion? Let me know in the comments. But if you liked the video, please give it a like. Also, please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you in the next one.